in a general sense. And so um, we're going to start off with Rodrigo, who's going to just explain a little bit of how these LLMs work, how tokenization is building out not only those word responses, but image and video. And then once we have that establishment of the foundation, we'll move towards the creation of artifacts, as I was saying, in terms of how do I generate real business value for myself using generative AI in an applied way. Share with you guys some prompt packs as well. And all the tooling we'll be using is possible to use for free. With that, I'd like to hand off to you, Rodrigo, and you can get started.
Yeah, and first of all, can you hear me, guys? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, perfect. And for everyone, please feel free to turn on your camera. Uh, you don't have to if you don't want or if you can't, but it would be great for us to see when are you sleeping or if it's okay what if you are enjoying this learning journey. And also, we want to know if there is a bot or a real person behind scenes, right? Because you never know. With that in mind, uh, hello, everybody here, and
Hi.
nice to see you, Manit. If you are driving, pay attention on the road, please. We don't, we want to start safe. Yeah, my name is Rodrigo Reyes. I'm Chilean. I'm here in South America. Um, and I've been teaching this at MIT Professional Education for almost 3 years, and I'm teaching with Oscar courses like the Applied Generative AI for Digital Transformation, Agentic AI, and that's why we create that community, Gen AI Global. You can see here in no here in our logo. And the AI for All initiative, uh, everybody from that are creating this great initiative, this great community, also are also part of that community. So it's first of all, and this is not only for the audience, but for the organizers. Thank you for invite us to share our knowledge, our content with you guys. So with that in mind, um, another important thing, if you have any question, if you have any comment, um, feel free to ask anytime, right? This is for you. It's not a video. We are recording and we are going to share this with you, but take advantage of this online session, asking as much as possible. And you can do it if you don't want to interrupt us when we are talking. You can do it using the chat, the Zoom chat, anytime. We can read that, and if we need more context to answer that, we can start the conversation, right? So with that in mind, I'm going to ask you a few things, right? So let me share my screen real quick. Perfect. So let me know, are you seeing my slides? Yep,
Yep.
Yes.
great. I'm not seeing you at this point, guys, because I only have one screen uh, now, today. So next time I will have more than one, but I'm in a place only with one screen. So first question, this is the hard one. Where are you from? And when I mean where are you from, I mean city, not only country. So that's going to be the easy one, not the hard. So let me see. Where you from? I'm going to also share. I'm not seeing answers, so maybe. Okay, Netherlands. Nice. So do we more than one person. We do have people from. Okay, I'm gonna also share the link. Try this one, guys, please, if you can, the link, because I'm not sure if, because I'm seeing only 2 answers.
I see numbers are growing that people are joining to the link. So hopefully it will start showing up sooner.
Okay, great. From India. Yeah, but India is a big country. So that's why, okay, Noida. If you can share the city also, that will be great. Noida, Amsterdam. Great. I'm going to move this one. Perfect. There. So from India, Netherlands, Noida. Only 7 answers, and I think that there are more people. Okay, I'm gonna admit. So, I think there are 20 participants, so I want to see more.
I expect about 40 participants, Rodrigo.
Okay.
So we have numbers growing
Perfect.
consistently. So.
Yeah. And of course, I want to know where you're from, guys. But also, this is a check-in question, so we can test this device, this Mentimeter form to or platform, because the next question will be the one that I'm looking for, that I really interested. Plano, you say. Chapra, Noida, Amsterdam. Okay, so please don't close the link. We're going to use the same link, and I'm going to share once again the link if I see that the audience are increasing, so probably you will need the link there. Yeah, so next question. Next question is going to be on the same link always, guys. So don't close that link. Okay. Next question will be, define yourself in between 6 and 10 tokens. Could be less, could be more, but between 6 and 10, it's okay.
There could be some people who are really beginner. Is it an idea also to explain with the token? What does 6 to 10 token mean?
Oh, let me stop sharing my screen. Who was the person asking that?
It was me, Prabhat.
You? Oh, I was waiting for the audience to ask this, but that's okay anyways. You know, this is a tricky question that I always use, because I want the audience to ask me when they don't know something. At this point, I'm pretty sure that there are, you can smile, right? For real, or send me an emoji smiling or laughing. But if you're looking for Google in Google or Safari or even asking ChatGPT, oh, what is a token? You don't have to do that, guys. You need to ask on this session. That's why we are here. If you don't know something, you have to ask. Okay? Don't assume something. You don't have to do. You don't have to know everything, right? So yeah, I saw a couple of people sending emojis. So yeah, of course I'm going to explain. We are going to explain what is a token for sure. This is an important topic, right? But for now, take the concept token like a word. Okay? It's not a word exactly. It's like 75% of a word in English, right? Okay. Is the way that the AI understand words and not only words more. I will explain later. But for now, introduce yourself between 6 and 10 words. Okay? Thank you for the question. Anyways. Okay, I'm gonna check. I have 3 answers. Once again, it's important, and I'm gonna share again the link. It's important to answer this because the networking is also important. So every time when you have the chance to introduce yourself, you never know who is hearing, who is seeing. Maybe it's your next partner, your next fiancé or whatever, right? You never know. So we are here not only to learn, but also to grow as a community. Okay, I only have 4 answers. I'm going to share my screen once again. Okay, here we go. So you can also scan if you are just starting this session late. Don't worry, we're asking for introduce yourself or define. Okay, define, but introduce yourself between 6 and 10 tokens. So I love GenAI. I think that was Oscar because it wasn't me. I'm not seeing you, Oscar. I hope that, but I can imagine that you're. Okay, AI language model helping you learn. Wow. We have Tiki people here. IT consultant with 20 years of experience, AI enthusiast, learning new concepts every day. Great. Software professional with 15 years of experience looking to update my skill set. Dedicate practical careers. I'm Tushar, software. Great. So I'm gonna give you like 15 minutes, not minutes, seconds more to finalize this, because at the end of the course, guys, we are going to have the second part of this question. That is important. By the end of the course, we are going to play. I'm gonna stop sharing here for 1 second because I want to see you guys. We are going to play Among Us, and you are going to discover who is who. Introducing itself, right? But by the end of the course, and you can use Gen AI, artificial intelligence, or natural intelligence to discover, right? So that's why it's important also that you introduce yourself. We are not going to spend the full morning introducing ourselves. We are introducing concepts. For example, what is a token? But let's do it in a funny way. Okay. So okay, I have 10. I'm gonna share once again the screen, but I'm seeing 27. It's gonna be. I think we have like 25 participants. Okay, perfect. So I'll give you just so you can have the chance to participate by the end of the course, playing Among Us. I'm going to give you extra 10 seconds to answer that. And I'm going to share last time the link for the last time the link so you can introduce yourself between 6 and 10 tokens. So yeah, I'm gonna share my screen once again, and I'm going to use any of this. Let me see. Okay. I think that maybe this one could be like, it's gonna be more than 10 tokens maybe. But if I wanna know, I can use, you can come to the any browser, your favorite browser. For example, this, I'm using Google Chrome in this case. I'm gonna type tokenizer. And guys, why we are starting, why we're starting with this concept, token? Because it's a key concept for the future. Yeah, 14, like I was expecting. You see here, the integration is one, okay, but sometimes, for example, 𝗪𝗃 are taking 2 tokens, not only one. Let's see another, for example, another example. And for that, let me divide this, and I'm going to come here and start the presentation. I'm going to take this one. I think that this is like 10 tokens or less. 6. Okay. Maybe. Okay, let's try with this. This is going to be like 8 tokens. Yeah, 8. At this point, I have a calibrate eye to see how much tokens are we using. You know, like you see here, strategist should be strategist. Oh yeah, the S. I skipped the S. I missed the strategist, right? So now the concept of strategies or the word is divided in 2 tokens. So at the end of the day, and let me come back to my and just to see this one, for example. If we come here, this is going to be like a, I don't know, maybe 35 or 30. Okay, I don't know, 20. 35. I said 37. Oh, I'm surprised of my eye at this point and worry because maybe I'm, transforming an AI. Okay, so anyways, if a token is a way that the AI are transforming a word, but not only a word, the data, right, are interpreting the data and transforming that data in numbers, vectors with an arrangement of numbers. So the AI can apply mathematics, mathematics, and from there, probabilistic mathematics. Because the AI, at the end of the day, in terms of, for example, text or words, the AI is typically trying to look for the next more probable word, right? But to do that, first, it needs to transform the word in a vector, right? So, and that is very similar than the human, what humans are, we as a human, or our brain works. And I'm going to show you what I mean with that. So next question. And come to my, back to my presentation. I'm going to look for, okay, mentimeter. Yeah, so the next question will be, okay. This is an easy one. Which LLM? Oh, sorry. Before to do that, sorry. Just I forgot because I was talking about tokens. Yeah, we're going to share these slides with you guys, so you don't have to worry about all the content that we have here. And you can see you are going to be able to go to this link and understand what is a token. Like I said, token is like 3/4 of a word. 100 tokens are 75 words in English, for example, right? But like I said, tokens, you can use tokens or tokenize like a word, in this case, coming from Professor Williams of the MIT PE courses, where we teach with Oscar. You can see what I show you, right? With words, but also you can see, you can tokenize image, right? You can see or take one of these squares like a pixel, for example, and a pixel is data. So in any place where you find data, you can transform that data in information. But for that, you need to process that data, that information, and convert to, for example, in this case, into a vector. So you can manage that with mathematics, like I said. But also you can do that with waves, for example, in the case of the audio. So tokens now are associated with a vector. So in the case of the wave of the audio, that wave you can tokenize and convert that in numbers, vectors, and then after that, manage and process all that information. Same case of the same case of text, right? Words, or like I said, image. If you want to know more about how it works, I'm gonna share with you this link. It's a very interesting link and blog post that somebody J Alamar create. So I'm gonna share with you the link through the the chat. So here you're going to find the full explanation, a pretty good explanation of what is a token, how it works, and how it works in terms or coming from the GPT view. Okay, like I said, it's trying to look for the next more probable word. I think that I'm going to open from my slides a very, very brief explanation of that. Let me find my, okay, here I have, I was hiding these slides because I didn't want it to put you so much with so many concepts. Just to finalize the explanation of a token, because once again, it's important. It's not only important to understand the concept of the token, of how the LLM, large language model, works with tokens. It's important because that's going to consume resource. It's not only start and speak or chat with the LLM with so many words, and it doesn't mean nothing or anything, right? Every word, every token counts. It's going to consume energy. It's going to consume money. Why money? Because in the future, if you want to create an agent, that's going to consume tokens using an API, for example, an API key, or just directly the tokens of the LLM. So that's gonna cost money. So we need to be aware of the amount of tokens that we use, and that's going to also be part of the amount of memory that the LLM are going to be able to process. Maybe you have been noticing that when you chat, for example, with an LLM like ChatGPT, when you chat with ChatGPT, you start a conversation, and at some point, the LLM will forget the previous prompt that you introduce or that you bring to the chat. That's the reason why is because there's a limit of tokens inside a conversation that the LLM will remember, right? So once again, that's why the concept is very important. And when I say that the transformer model behind the interaction, right, are looking for the next more probable word. For example, if we run this sentence, Tim, the flying dog, lives in the next more probable word could be small, large, town, village, city, but we're going to take small. But after that, everything's going to change. So the next more probable word will be now town, then in, friends, and then final point or dot, right? So yeah, that's what we mean when we're talking about looking for the next more probable word. But if you want to look for that, you need to convert or transform the word in a vector, numbers, if you want to apply mathematics, right? So with that in mind, my next question will be, which LLM do you use the most? Because now we're talking about LLMs. So let me come back to my presentation. Great. So which one is the LLM that you use the most? And I'm going to share once again the link. And guys, remember that this is always the same link. I'm not seeing answers, or maybe everybody are just using Gemini. Can you answer this, guys? Using the but use the link, please. Answer using Mentimeter, because I want to have the statistics. This is really important. And I have only 2 answers. Okay, great. So we have, maybe for the first time, Gemini is on the top of the preference. Cool. I'm gonna wait a little more. Okay. More people using Gemini. Also ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Microsoft Copilot. Okay, now somebody is creating some drawings. Please don't do that. I don't know how to, okay, erase that. Okay. Okay, so next question. First question is, which LLM to use the most? Now, my next question will be, how often do you use LLMs? For example, like GPTs or Gemini, like you just shared. But how often do you use LLMs? Never, rarely, a lot, always, I don't know. And please, once again, guys, answer using the link, not using the chat. Yeah. Gemini is the winner. Okay, so we're seeing that people are using a lot. 4 participants are saying always, 2 are saying a lot. And I'm going to take longer on this question because this and the next questions are key. So please, guys, try to answer this. Not through the Zoom chat, but using the link that I've just shared with you. Mentimeter. I'm going to share with you once again. Go inside this link and answer, because we have to see the statistics. Okay, so I will give you 10 extra seconds. If not, I'm going to stay with these 7 answers. Okay, 8 answers, 5 seconds more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, please, at least these 9 people, at least these 9 people that just answered me, please answer on the same link. Don't close that link. How often do you use the Transformer AI model? Let me know. A lot. Only 1 person. A second one saying always. Please answer fast. I will give you 10 seconds more. 3, 2, 1, 0. And now I'm really confused. This is the first time that I see this answer. And it in and why I'm saying this? Because at the end of the day, this is the same question. So we're seeing a difference between this previous one, 5.4, and the second one, 5.2. That means that at least two people are using something without knowing what it is. Can somebody of I'm gonna hear I wanna hear any of the participants. Can you guys open the mic, the microphone, and answer me? What is that transformer model for you, in your words?
Yeah, so my understanding is I'm still a new person in this area. So my understanding is all LLMs use the transformer model. In fact, tokenization of the text is the first step of the transformer Gen LLM model, I guess.
Yeah, I really like that final word. I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
sure.
yeah. And this is the second tricky question, similar than the what is a token. I want you guys to ask me. I don't know. That's why there was an option to saying I don't know, right?
Yeah.
If we are going to spend 2 Saturdays, and if you don't know a concept, guys, not only you, Mahish, thank you very much to be brave to say, I guess. You don't have to be experts. That's why you're here, right? So just let us know or ask if you have any question, or let us know if you have any idea, but you're not sure of something, right? So,
Yep.
but let me tell you that the more typical answer coming from everybody is real different between the first one and the second one. We have a lot of people using LLMs like ChatGPT, and I prefer to explain using that, not the brand, because Oscar and me, we are not sales agents yet. We should be, because after this course, people are, jumping to use the more advanced. Um, uh, they are starting to pay for the paid version of the GPT, ChatGPT, or any other tools. We are going to use, like Oscar says, we're trying to use free versions of all the LLMs or any other software that we use. Okay. But we are also going to show you the difference between the free version and the paid version, right? And sometimes are huge different, right? The difference is huge. So, but once again, like I said, you don't have to be experts at all. Just ask. And like I said, I prefer to explain what is the transformer model, because the T of the GPT is transformer. GPT means generative pre-trained transformer. And people are using that without knowing how it works. What is this? What is this? And first of all, let me tell you, where is the concept come from? Do you remember the enterprise Kodak? Have you ever heard about Kodak?
Yeah, I heard it somewhere, but I don't recall. What was it? Yeah.
Yeah. Kodak was a very important enterprise in the market of the photographies. And is that enterprise is not existing anymore. It disappeared. And you know, uh, thank, thank you, Rahan, uh, for not let me feel the more older person in the room, because that happens a long time ago, right? So yeah, Kodak disappeared. But you know what was the reason why that enterprise disappeared, died?
Like any other big enterprise like Nokia, they could not innovate with time.
Okay,
Yeah.
but maybe Ryan or you know, the reason why Kodak disappeared was because of the digital
Data transfer.
photography.
That's right.
And you know who create the digital photographies? Kodak. But they didn't pay attention on that. They thought, no, we're a big company. We're never going to disappear, especially with something that we already create, right? But they disappeared. And this almost happened to Google with the attention is all you need paper, where everything started because that paper was related with the transformer model, right? And I said it almost disappeared because of course it didn't disappear, but Google lose a big opportunity to be on the top of the wave in terms of the AI.
Yeah.
And let me tell you guys, after 3 years, and Oscar can say if this is true or not, this is the first time that I see in my question, in my own statistics, that a group of people answered saying that they prefer Gemini versus ChatGPT. Always is ChatGPT. That means that the Gemini is doing a great job now, right?
Absolutely.
But after 2 or 3 years, they let OpenAI exist, right? So that's the first thing that I want to say in terms of the transformer model. Now we can understand what is that, what is the meaning of how it works, in simple words, right? But before to do that, let me ask you the next question. Guys, please don't answer this using the Zoom chat. Please answer using this QR. And for that, let me do something real quick. This is what I'm asking to you to do, okay? And I'm gonna help this with this image. Okay, try to imagine the concept of king. Now, less men and plus woman. What is the first thing that are coming to your mind? But please answer through this link that I've shared with you. King, less man, plus woman. And I'm not going to review that until to have at least 10 answers. Try to imagine what is the first concept that are coming to your mind when you answer this equation. But do it using Mentimeter. Okay, I have one question here in the Zoom chat, and I'm gonna show you the resource. Not this. Okay, Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna start the presentation. And I have 3 answers, and people are saying queen, 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 queen. And just to be sure, I'm not paying anybody on this room to answer this. And this is natural. This is coming directly from your brain. So, and let me stop sharing my screen now. Before to answer or before to understand what we did here, I have another question. How it's possible to to do this equation without numbers? Because you're extracting concepts and adding concepts, words, not numbers. But you are giving the exactly same, more probable word that not only you, but all people all over the world, and the AI should answer. Because you could say prince, you could say royalty, you could say whatever you want, but you decide to say queen, and there was no numbers here. Why is that possible? It's because the transformer model that we have inside our brain, which is very similar than the AI are using. And I'm going to show you what we did exactly inside our brain. We said, okay, we embed this word in a space in our brain to give context and allow reason. What we did, we thought about man, king, as a concept. Then we add the concept man, maybe a crown, and you have a royalty concept of a man. But if you extract the concept of a man, there's only the royalty concept. And if you add the gender equivalent of woman, that's going to be a queen. And you did it without maybe reasoning, but in an intuitive way. But that was mathematics behind. How? In this, like this, what you're seeing here. In some place in your mind, in your brain, there was a concept of king. So we said, okay, what if we have a king and we extract or we take the concept, the gender concept, the context behind this equation was gender concept. If we extract that concept and we add a new one, we can find the next more probably neuron around this attention that we are paying on the concept of gender. And you are going to find that the more reasonable answer will be queen. And we are creating a new concept here. And that's exactly the way that GenAI works. That's in that way that the AI are generating a new answer coming from that concept. So that's why the concept is so important. And for that, you can see it in this small demo that we have here. If I click here on king, you will see that the next more probable word, without giving any context, are going to be kings, plural. If not, the next more probable could be queen, which is equivalent in terms of gender. But if I ask you, If I ask you now, for example, final question, and after this, I'm going to present couple power. Okay, these people are hallucinating, but near to the concept, and that's okay. And I'm going to explain what is an hallucination later. Now, answer this as fast as possible. What is the first concept that are coming to your mind if we add now the concept of the context of food? King plus food. What is coming to your mind? Once again, it's on the same link. So, am I sharing my screen or not?
I think you have to bring back the screen,
Okay,
because I
thank
don't
you.
think we can see it as well.
Yeah. Okay, party. I like your style. Whoever answered this, I like your style. Okay, King plus food. Burger King. Somebody says Burger King. Mango. What is mango? Oh, it's a fruit, right? But why is King related with King? So whatever. Okay, so what is coming to your mind? Party, mango, Burger King. Oh, we have. Oh, maybe it's because this is a weekend, right? And people are thinking in parties. Food King. Great. So what I wanted to bring to the table with this is that only one word will change everything. So the context that you provide to the AI is key if you want to have an accurate answer from the AI. The context will change everything. That's what I was showing you here. If we are talking about food, probably burger, like Burger King, will be the next more probable word. If we're talking about cinemas, movies, probably the next more probable word will be Lion King or King Kong, right? And you can see here the weights of the neurons or the probabilities between one word and another. And here you're going to see the tokens inside this equation. So that's the way that your brain works and our brain works in general, right? Yeah. So with that in mind, now we can think about what is the best prompt anatomy to avoid, because we're talking about the next word, the next more probable word. And because we're talking about probabilities, there is a potential error in that equation, right? So if you want to minimize that error, and that's our work, try to minimize the error coming from the answer that are generating the AI, generative AI in this case. If we want to be very accurate, if we want to get great answers and control that error, that hallucination, we call the error of generative AI hallucination, which is more than an error, guys. It's a dangerous error because the AI think that it's real. So that's why it's hallucinating, right? So I don't know if you have ever experimented an interaction with the LLM, and the LLM are answering something weird or crazy. In that case, or not the answer that I was expecting, is because we are not probably providing context, enough context. And then role, act as something. And then tone, to know, to let the LLM knows how is the better way to answer my questions. Because and why is important the role? Because when somebody asks you something, it's different when you answer as a father, as a son, as a teacher, as a student, as a, I don't know, any role that you can take as a professional, right? Then we have to go with the action. And this is the first error or mistake that people typically are doing. We don't use structured prompt anatomy. We always start with the question or with the action. ChatGPT, I want to be rich. Help me to create this business model. No, you need to first provide or bring as much context as possible. If you provide garbage in, garbage will be out. So you need to start from the context, then provide the role, then the tone, then act the action, the thing or the task that you're looking for, and let the LLM knows how are you want to receive that answer, the output, the format. That's going to be an email, a post, a video, a PowerPoint, a code, whatever you want. Okay. So with that in mind, that's the same that is happening with image, for example. Remember that I said that you can tokenize the image because you can see here some pixels, and in a pixel you will find some data, and you can encoder that data and then decoder that data, and you will see the same image or a different one. Because in fact, there is a small difference between one and another when you are vectoring that pixel and decoding this. Like, because this is the in all this process appears the probabilities, there's going to be a difference between the generated and the original one, which is the error or the loss. And this is the same when we have an amount of data, for example, this one, and we launch, for example, a function like the linear regression function, and you have the average of all the data, and we know that the distance between that average and the data, we call that error. And we are always trying to minimize that square error between the actual data and the model prediction. This is the same with mathematics that we are using with the AI and the generative AI. But we are, to create new content, we are using that error and controlling that error in the way that we can take advantage of that error, creating something new but controlled. That's the reason why I can present myself as a Chilean, like this one, which is Pedro Pascal, and I can define myself like another Pedro Pascal, and convert and transform my face into his face and become the Mandalorian, right? With just one click. The good news is that, okay, I'm also Chilean like him, but I don't have his salary. I would like to transform that also. But yeah, that's the thing that I want to say today to you guys. And maybe you're not noticing this now, but we are going to use all this concept in practice. And Oscar will show you how, will show us how to take advantage of that. Okay. Of course, if you have any question, please do it by the end of this session. We are going to cover that then. But Oscar, please, your turn.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rodrigo. And yeah, let's get started on the applied part when it comes to this lesson series for today. I'll start my presentation up right now and just make sure I have everything in place so we can get started for launch. I'm going to get started with just sharing a folder that contains all the prompts that I'm going to be using today, so you guys can utilize that for not only during this class, but outside of it, if you guys want to create those upgraded headshot photos and microsite for portfolio use. That's going to be linked below. As well, just see here, I will share now my screen and we can get started with this slide series. So So what are we going to do today? Today, the idea is to ship 2 trust assets. We push the Google VO portion to next class to layer on top of this. But let's get started here. So the idea here is to generate a professional headshot that's ready to use in minutes, a resume microsite, and what is this supposed to be teaching in terms of generalized workflow when it comes to those interactions with Gen AI. One core skill this is supposed to be implementing for you guys is the utilization of building out workflows with clear instructions that can be repeated and iterated on as time goes on. So if you want to come back once, for instance, 𝗏𝗏 has become even more powerful than it already is, and it's always happening, you can go back and just reuse that prompt series to upgrade your artifacts, for instance, headshot or website. And it's also meant to implement a concept when it comes to utilizing these resources that instead of vibe prompting, you can have a pipeline series of prompts to build out really strong artifacts that consistently have high value outputs that can be utilized for professional use or org use. So what are those pipelines? We're going to discuss those today. So today we're going to be focusing on generating 2 critical assets using a structured pipeline approach. Output 1 is going to be that headshot, as I was talking about. Output 2 is that resume microsite. That site's meant to be sleek and front of the line alongside that headshot. The layering rule. So we're going to be utilizing as well a tool that I created, which is a nano banana prompt GPT, which will help you craft a really strong prompt to upgrade that professional photo. It's going to utilize a series of prompts to create a high polish end product that is aligned to your branding. So just quickly as we move through these slides, just try and have a resume set just to utilize as an artifact when we get to that live demo side. And the headshot and resume are going to be inputs that are going to be used to build out that mini portfolio site that we're going to be building out with Gemini. So why is a microsite important and why is a headshot important? Headshots convey professionalism and reliability to your target audience or potential employers. Why is a microsite important and what is a microsite? So microsite is basically just a website, but very lean, just specifically for one targeted goal. The idea behind them is to try and build out one CTA or one proof of concept. So the idea for utilizing it in this case is to drive engagement when it comes to your personal brand and displaying yourself and your accomplishments, leading to more interviews or inbound leads effectively. So it can use that for a CTA as well. And the way we're going to be building this out, as I said, is with that pipeline. So we're going to use one core workflow, repeat it twice for 2 different outputs, which described at the start. It's going to be simple copy and paste when it comes to that prompting side. As I said, make sure to go to that Google Drive to just be able to access those prompts, and we'll refine one lever at a time, avoiding complete rewrites. So pushing forward here, in terms of how this is going to be executed through the layering rule, every output is going to feed into the next tool. So understanding this rule is key to efficient AI workflows. So think of an assembly line, not just random tools or random prompting. Every step or every prompt produces a reusable deliverable that is then added upon and immediately reused. So the pipeline mental model blueprint, start with a clear specific prompt, generate several variants for your choice through prompting, selection, pick the best fit using defined rubric, reuse, drop the winner to output that next artifact, which will be either the headshot or the microsite. So why does this matter? There's fewer retries and wasted effort, and more consistency in those outputs, and most importantly, faster shipping even under pressure. So prompt engineering, clear instructions, clear results. So this ties a bit into what Rodrigo was talking about. Prompting isn't just magic or simply asking nicely. It's about directing a system with specific, unambiguous instructions to achieve predictable and desired outcomes. There's three levers you can use to control the outcome. One is defining a role for the model as who they should act like. So for instance, expert marketer or technical writer, this sets the tone and expertise. Having a clear KPI or success metric, clearly articulating what good looks like in an output, so that can be inserted into that processy when it comes to building out the output from that prompt. And then constraints, so having those guardrails, specify what must not happen when it comes to an output, because these guardrails allow to prevent initial undesirable content, format, or tone when it comes to outputs across image, video, and programming. So why does this matter? Clear prompts significantly reduce rework and wasted iterations. Well-defined constraints minimize embarrassment risk or brand deterioration, and also ensure that brand safety. And better direction leads to higher quality outputs that are usable on that first run, accelerating delivery and minimizing the need for multiple iterations when it comes to interacting with Gen AI. So if we're going to go into the metaphor concept, think of yourself as writing the precise spec sheet that a factory, the AI, must follow to produce your desired product. So the 6 prompt moves will be using this class. So talked about role. We're going to have goals. So what the scope is for the LLM to act upon. Goal is to make a headshot. Goal is to create that microsite, but explaining more in depth. I want good lighting. I want it to be geared towards my target demo, etc. So really defining what that goal is, rather than just saying, make me a professional headshot, make me a professional headshot for my target demo. That feeds into establishing myself in a thought leader in this sector, etc. Constraints. So we talked about the importance of guardrails to limit the amount of iteration that is needed when interacting with these LLMs for those outputs. Options. So this is something that is additional to what we were talking about previously, but basically here it's instructing the AI to generate 16 versions of a prompt, and then from that select and refine. So score each of these using rubric to create the top quartile based on value proposition, differentiation, scalability, etc. Then you'll have this full template that you can structure your prompts to be reusable with variable inserts for each of these use cases. Why does this matter? By mastering these moves, prompting transforms from a guessing game into a predictable, repeatable business workflow that drives tangible results. So watch me run the pipeline live, then you'll clone it, Next, I'll run the live demos using the prepared prompt packed. Then you'll run the exact same flow, but just with your inserts. So what to watch while I'm doing this, what role I'm establishing, what guardrails I have in place, and how the selection process for that final prompt output for both Nano, Banana, and Gemini Canvas website microsite creation is chosen. And how do you do this in terms of your guys' own application? Just make sure to utilize those templates. Don't just vibe, prompt, or feel your way through it. Make sure to follow that structure. Reliability is a lot more important in this case than creativity, because if we have a tested flow that's already producing solid results, it's best to continue in that pathway. If something's off, then change one aspect and try and define what step broke it. So here we're going to start the assembly line, quote unquote, where we run the blueprint. So what we're going to execute initially, inspect the batch in terms of possible outputs, and keep the best unit, which is the best prompt for deployment. So what do you guys need to do before we get situated here? Just make sure to have a resume ready as a input you can put alongside these prompts. Your target outcome for today. So what do you want your website to build out for you? Hireability, so it demonstrates your strengths, your experiences in a sleek way, or is it a vehicle in which to pull leads through a CTA funnel for instance, consultancy? And if it is that, have what that CTA would be defined as, and then just 3 words for your professional vibe. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this just so you guys have this here as I move through the slides. Just so it says unable to send file due to admin restrictions. So just basically, as I was saying, the main thing, can ignore the other 3 bullet points. The main thing is just making sure you have that resume. The rest can be built out in post. So pushing forward here, phase 1, I'm going to quickly describe what we're going to do before we do it in full. Let me just quickly prep this since I know we're nearing the hour here. So that way I have this situated. So directly after these slides, I can move to deployment. So what's going to be the process when it comes to building out that professional headshot? Phase 1 is going to build the prompt blueprint using the upper quartile method. So basically what is going to happen here is we're going to generate 16 headshot prompts in prompt code 𝗫𝗫 for Nano Banana. We're going to score them fast and keep the top 4 or the upper quartile based on those scoring and define what that scoring method will be. Then once we get to that top prompt from that upper quartile, we're going to refine that just to make sure it has that extra level of polish. Then we'll deploy. So one-shot prompting wastes time and produces inconsistent quality. So the reason why this has business value is because this method gives you a repeatable way to get professional grade headshots done in minutes. In terms of a metaphor, we're not guessing the best blueprint when it comes to this whole factory analogy. Review 16 blueprints, keep the best 4, then polish the top 1. How it reinforces this whole lesson objective of prompts to proof, teaches the method, options, selection, improvement, using clear constraints and a rubric to make sure that we're not assigning scores without proper weighting. So the prompt controls that prevent weird outputs. So what guardrails do we have in place? We add a small set of controls to the winning prompt background, etc. We add must not constraints to reduce artifacts. Why does this matter? Same thing as before when we were talking about why guardrails are important. Make sure that those outputs have those guardrails in place. So and I see there's chats just to make sure. Okay, cool. Basically the idea here, is to have a reusable system for outputting these professional headshots with those guardrails to prevent messy or AI looking type image productions. So then continuing forward, this is basically just reiterating here that we're going to build out those options, that we're going to have that approved final prompt. Then we're going to iterate there to make it fully polished. And then we're going to paste output into 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. And then from here, this is just saying, hey, once we have that final prompt, is it having a clean background, natural lighting, executive ready, no artifacts or distortion? If so, then that can be our final product. And then these are just hallucinations to, not hallucinations, but bad outputs to look for. So if the image comes out as too casual, the background is messy, or it looks too filtered, that's something we want to negate so that we make sure we're not doing that AI heavy look when it comes to that headshot. And yeah, so from there, we're going to be set to build out this prompt series. So what I'm going to do here is follow along from this prompt series I have here. So all I'm going to do in order to build out this prompt, and let me also give you guys Gemini here so that you can access that for image generation. So I'll say Gemini. And then here, just so you guys know, you'll just click on the Create Images button when you build out that prompt. So starting here, I'm going to input this prompt and then I'll explain what it is. So just give me 1 second here. Oh, sorry, did not mean to do that there. Here we go. Command C, then Command V. So here we have the setup, quote unquote, insert. So who the person is, right? And scoring rules. So here I'm stating you're my prompt coach. Your job is to produce the single best copy paste prompt for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 using an uploaded photo of me that I'm going to share. And the output goal is to maximize that headshot hireability for enterprise roles or inbound leads for consulting. My inserts, that's going to be taken from my resume, reference photo, I'll be uploading, identity preservation rules, so trying to have that guardrail against the end product looking to quote unquote AI, allow changes. You're defining clearly what the prompt is allowed to change in that final output to make sure that it's only changing things that aren't affecting the subject, only the surroundings. Disallow changes. So what do we need to negate in order to ensure that we're not getting that overly AI look? Then the upper quartile method. So defining, hey, let's generate 16 ideas, then choose the top one based on weighting. And then how we do that scoring when it comes to weighting each of those 16 options. So with that, I'm going to put in my 2 artifacts. So as you can see here, this is a photo that I took literally during the class. So it's not anything professional or high grade, going as an initial headshot to show that you can really do this without having to prepare any high level photo quality going in. And I also have attached my resume. And now I'm going to run through, but in instant mode. I would recommend thinking mode, but just in the essence of time, I'm going to be running through this demo in instant mode so we can get faster outputs. So right now it's just uploading that resume. In the meantime, I will get situated with that prompt 1. Just copy this here. But just to reiterate, and if there's any questions, feel free to ask in chat. Right now, we're just setting up that groundwork in terms of, hey, how should this prompt be outputted? for that final result to create that headshot. So let me see here. For some reason, this is taking a second to upload, and now we're going to hit enter. So what it will do is pull the inputs from that resume. It will ask me one question here, which is, as I was talking about, either consultancy or hiring in terms of what that headshot should be optimized for. So I'm going to say hiring is the objective. And so I can just literally copy this. And now it will be situated to start on the next steps. Cool. Sorry, actually. Alongside this, I'm going to just quickly define the next step to ensure that it gives the best possible output here. So I'm going to say generate 16 distinct nano banana headshot prompts, as I was saying. So that way it can build out alongside that weighting for each of those options to choose the best possible output. So now I'm going to hit enter here. So it should just take a second. So here's prompt 1. And for you guys, you should be running through that GPT, but on my side, I can access it at the end, so that way you can move a little bit faster. So I'll show what I mean by that soon, but right now it's just building out those 16 options. While it's doing that, I'm going to set up prompt 2, where we will now rank each of these outputs. And I'll explain that while we're waiting for this. So now that we produced the 16 prompt options for that headshot, the idea is going to be to output a table with columns for weighting. So prompts, value in terms of how much value this potential output will demonstrate in terms of showcasing your brand, wow factor, identity, accuracy. So you're trying to show yourself as someone technical, someone business oriented based on your resume, reliability. Does this make me look reliable? And then from there, it's going to do a total score, then list the top 4 prompts based on these scoring. So you're now prompt 15. And we will be good to launch that photo. So I'll hit enter here. And this is where I'm going to activate my application I made that I was telling you guys you should utilize. So as you see here, it is now doing that ranking. It has defined how to weight each of those rankings. And then based on that, that matrix is going to choose the top 4 prompts as we see here. And then P1 is the one that won overall. So what I'm going to do here is paste this final prompt to refine the number 1 winner. And what I'm going to do is just hit the @ symbol and then type in the application I made for prompting to Nano Banana. Okay, so this should take a second here, but now I'm just going to hit enter. And while we are waiting here, I see someone's joining here. Let me just quickly switch to this deployment area. It's the same thing as what I was showcasing with Gemini. but just utilizing a API key for the specific output. So I'm going to say select key. And then now what I'm going to do is, now that we have that final prompt outputted, I'm going to copy this, and we are going to see what output we get. Hopefully, I mean, it will give us a good output, but hopefully we don't get any hallucinations alongside this. So let's get this situated here. Sorry about that. It's being a bit weird when it comes to copying here. Now I'm going to hit Command C, paste, and in theory, we should be situated. So I'm just going to set this as a 1, 2, 1 and 4K. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, we'll run this rework. So now we're just waiting for that output. As stated before, if there's any questions, just feel free to ask, but it should be situated in the next 2 minutes. It's just finalizing out here. So as you see, we now have that output of the more refined version. I would prefer to make one fix here, which is maintaining that angle, because I think that did create a slight differentiation in facial makeup. So I'll say this is good, but I want to maintain the initial angle from the image. So update the image prompt to ensure it maintains the same angle, because with the change of angle, it is not as accurate in output. And so this plays into that whole iterating side that I was talking about in the presentation. So we'll take a look at the output. Depending on how the output looks, we do that iteration following the same pipeline that we've established in that prompt 0 to try and make the image look more accurate to what the vision we have is. And Rodrigo?
No, I just want to reinforce what you just said. In terms, and to connect with the fundamental prompting that I've shared, the prompt anatomy, and also an important thing that you just mentioned. It's very important to chat with the LLM. That's why, for example, in the case of the OpenAI, they call Chat GPT, right? Because when you're interacting and iterating the answer, the next answer, the next prompt will take the previous interaction and will use that as a context to get more accurate, fine-tuned answer from the AI. So it's key to do what Oscar are doing like by nature, right? Because at this point we are using so much ChatGPT that we not even know what to do without the help of the AI, right? But that's what I wanted to say and highlight, Oscar, connecting with the prompt anatomy that I've just mentioned. And also because I noticed, and probably everybody will notice, that you sometimes we start with the role before the context. So that depends on, it's not mandatory. You can start with role and then the context, but it's really important to include the context, or have as much as possible context that we can in our interaction, if we wanna avoid or minimize the error, minimize the hallucination, and improve the accuracy of the GPT or the Gemini, in this case, the LLM answers, right? That is really key. That's what I wanted to bring to the table, Oscar.
Yeah, no, that's I'm definitely really aligned there, and I think this definitely showcases that. As you can see from this photo, this is a lot more accurate to how I actually look versus this one. So in one round of iteration, we've gotten from, hey, this looks completely different to me, to this not only looks accurate to me, it's down to even like having a little bit of stubble, even my freckle, micro little uh visual aspects such as like stubble on the back bottom of my neck, even the way my hair looks, everything is super accurate now in comparison to that initial image where, as you can see, there's no facial hair, the mouth and nose look a little bit different than my actual makeup. And this is just through one iteration, where I was able to create that more polished and accurate version of that headshot, that this is good enough that I'd even want to adopt this for my own LinkedIn. And yeah, Rodrigo.
No, I just wanna. It's funny to hear to say that you need to make or take this image, recreate this image less perfect. You know, with more hair in your face and stuff like that, because that's the huge difference between the AI and the human. We are not perfect. You know, in fact, if you don't want that people are discovering this, or people discover that you are using AI, in the tone you have to use a humanized tone. That means that your answer will include some errors, because as a humans we always make mistakes and errors, right? So the error concept is a good concept, not a bad concept, right? So but that's what I wanted to bring to say also.
No, yeah, no, that's definitely something that I'm fully aligned with as well. That concept of when it comes to interaction with these models, having uh not that super polished look when it comes to especially things like image generation, is something that's really important to have that natural tone that allows people to connect more with your content and view it more as something, hey, this is an actual headshot versus this is something that was produced with AI. So yeah, no, definitely aligned there. So with that, we've run through, hey, I developed this headshot, didn't come out the way I would like, which was intentional in terms of you want to see that iterative process, right? Then we got that finalized headshot that we got through that iteration. Now, what we're going to do is take that headshot and use it alongside that resume to develop a microsite. So, with that, let's move over back to ChatGPT. And I'm just going to do a new chat to show that we don't have to do anything special here. We can just open random chat, have this open now. What we're going to do is close out of this. I'm going to save this as an artifact I can utilize for this demo quickly in my folder. Here we go. And now what we're going to do is run through the prompting when it comes to the microsite generation. So let's start here. I'm going to close out of this, and we're going to start here with giving that headshot and resume again. Let's see here. So let me copy this really quickly. Paste here. Let's drag and drop that finalized headshot alongside the resume. And what we're going to do here is establish that initial setup, right? How are we going to operate in this chat? Stating you're my prompt coach. Your job is to produce the single best copy paste prompt for Gemini to generate a corporate clean microsite from an uploaded resume. So before I get into this, I'm just going to run through the slides really quickly that describe what we're about to do so you guys can understand if you're not familiar with Gemini and its capability to generate sites for free. So even if you don't have the pro plan, you can use Gemini Canvas to develop these microsites alongside what I just did previously with that Nano Banana demo. You can do the same thing when it comes to that image generation. I'm going to just walk through what that is and what we're about to do. So demo 2 is going to be resume to microsite in 10 minutes. What we're going to do is upload a resume to ChatGPT. I know it says Gemini there, but then we're going to generate a one-page microsite by iterating within that chat to create the best possible prompt to develop that site based on a clear goal that will give it. For me, I'm just going to say resume site. Why does this matter? This can turn your resume into a credible online presence that converts interviews, leads, or referrals that you can share with anyone that you're applying to in terms of jobs, or have on your LinkedIn, for instance, as a reference point, as a not only a portfolio of what you've done, but a portfolio proving that you can do real deployments with Gen AI as that artifact itself. So in terms of metaphor, we're going to be packaging your product as in resume. So the resume is the ingredients and the microsite is the box on top of that. So how does this reinforce the lesson objective? Demonstrates the layer pipeline, clear input, clear instruction, and then produces a usable output with minimal retries. So phase 1, lock the brief before you generate. So what we're going to do here is before generating, we give Gemini type brief following that same format. So audience, what's the persona, style, required section in terms of guardrails, and site goals. So defining what the metric is we're trying to build out the site to perform for. So as it says there, as an example for the guardrail, hard rule, use resume facts. Why does this matter? Type brief prevents generic copy and protects credibility. Using only resume facts and other guardrails reduces hallucination and mismatch risks. For a metaphor, this is the label on the box. If the label is clear, the factory packs the right product every time. How it reinforces that lesson objective, shows prompt engineering as direction, role, goal, constraints, and required format to drive better outputs. So pushing forward here, phase 2, generate the microsite. So we're going to generate a one-page site that works for any resume type. So we'll have a, this is just talking about what that makeup of that site will be. So we'll have a quick intro for who you are in three bullets, then a proof of why you can label yourself as that role in terms of your past experience, service or focus areas as the third part, and then a simple contact or CTA for reach out at the end. So why does this matter? This universal layout means it works for ICS managers, founders, and career changers. Basically, you can apply this to any job or objective you want. In terms of metaphor, this is a retail chef layout. Here is the front label, proof is the nutrition facts, and CTA is the checkout sign. So quality pass. So as we saw with Nano Banana, where we checked, does this look right? No, it doesn't, because it looks a little bit too much like AI. So let's iterate there. Same thing applies here with the website. Does every claim map to the resume, or is it hallucinating, creating an assumption, and listing something that you haven't done? Is the value proposition clear in the hero? So that's one of the other KPIs we're going to be looking at, or deliverables in terms of site output. Is the CTA singular and obvious? Is the third. And fourth, is this language corporate, clean, and specific, or is it wordy and jargon filled? So why does this matter? Credible sites convert, generic sites get ignored. This reduces risk, no inflated claims, no mismatched experience, and no inaccurate wording. So 2 variants. We're going to be doing the one for the resume site. This is just explaining that you can also use it as a CTA funnel if you would like to use this as a vehicle for consultancy booking. And facts fixes, same thing. Is basically what are we looking for in terms of guardrails. So with that, in interest of time, I'll now continue. I'll hit enter here. What we're doing in this initial prompt is the setup, inserts, and scoring rules are being developed all alongside this. So now we have to list that output goal. So maximize credibility with, okay, so let's just do this. So maximize credibility with academic and policy institutions is going to be my my goal with the site in terms of my own resume. And now I will move to the next prompt, which is going to be, sorry about this, generate 16 candidate Gemini prompts. Now that we define that scoring method. Okay, so now this is going to run. It's going to give 16 prompts. It's going to score them all. Then it's going to choose the top option to move forward. I mean, not my bad. Right now, it's just going to create those options, and then afterwards, we're going to score using that scoring rules or how to weight build out we made in that first prompt. So now we're creating the options. While that's loading, I'm going to just copy and paste the ranking prompt to rank these outputs to get the best possible version. And then after prompt 3, we'll be ready to launch that site. So here we go. I'm just going to add this quickly. Assume the prompt will have the headshot plus resume attached, just for when we get to that step. So right now it's building up those 16 options based on the maximizing for the categories we stated. Now, which is value, wow, reliability, pulling over from that headshot prompt. So let's hit enter here. It's now going to score and rank each of those 16 options on those metrics. And then once we complete with that scoring, we'll get that number 1 winner, and we will build out that final prompt to bring over to Gemini so we can build out that microsite. So while that's loading with those 16 scores, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Gemini and just prep the environment. So once we get that output, we can go straight into building out that site. So here we go. I'm going to click Tools. I'm going to click Canvas. And now I'm just going to wait for this build out. Just to make sure I have this copied, I do. Okay, so we have now completed the initial scoring round. So now we are going to further develop that winning prompt for the site generation using this final prompt, which is basically going to just do a final scan to make this a little bit more polished, then give us the copy paste, and it will have that assumption that we will be including both the resume and the headshot in the chat alongside the deployment. So as you can see, we have these attached now, and here is the final prompt. Okay. Okay. You're now situated to copy and paste this. So let me just make sure, yeah, we're situated here. Just gonna quickly zoom out so I can copy this all in one go, because sometimes there's a little bit of issue when it comes to this. So I'm just gonna copy up to there, rename sections, and here we go. And now all I have to do is hit enter, and in theory, we should be able to build out that microsite with just one prompt, which is really, really awesome. And then just to prove that proof of concept, once this is deployed, I will share that website with you guys to prove that you can access it, while also demonstrating it for you guys on the screen. So it's now building out. Should just take a second here. Okay, it's almost ready. So let's do the version 1, because that's the one that we're looking to build out. So I will say now create the, sorry, don't know why that didn't copy paste there. Recruiter scan optimized site. Now it's going to build that out. Just take a second. Okay, cool. So it's building this out now. For some reason, it didn't deploy the site, which is weird. Just try one more time. See, sorry about this, everyone. Let's see. No, build out the actual site, HTML, etc. Sure. Sorry, this is the first time I've gotten this error, run this before. I'm surprised. It's doing this. Let's see. Here we go.
That's always happen when you are in an
Yeah.
online demo. Always.
Yeah.
I think
Here we go.
AI
Okay, yeah, now it's building.
the AI noticed that you wanna, teach, and it makes mistakes. One important thing,
yeah.
Before to move with show the result that you are showing, because maybe in the audience we're going to find some people seeing like this, like I don't know, a strange language, which is the code language, and there are so many non-color people like me, right? So it's important to understand just one thing when you're creating a website. The language, the website will need 3 extensions to create something. One is the HTML, which is the content of the web page. Then the CSS, which is the look or the format of the web page, and then the JavaScript extension. You are going to find those 3 extensions in a website, and the JavaScript will provide the actions if you want to interact with the web page. So I just wanted to say that because I want to empathize with all the other non-coders And I know all this because I had to learn to teach AI, because I'm not a data engineer from the beginning. I'm civil engineer, structure engineer, and that was hard at the beginning. But if you feel that this is complicated, this is uh, uh, hard language, the data, don't worry about that, because all that we're doing with Oscar here is prompting and also programming, but with natural language. This is the new way to create something, and we call that vibe coding. This is what I wanted to say, Oscar. I don't know if you want to complement something.
No, that's very important. That distinction between the HTML, CSS, and JS side is something that's really good to know conceptually, especially when building out on this vibe coding side, because then you can know where, if there is issues that run into your code, where that could potentially be going on, and helps navigate that prompting side for sure. For some reason, I'm not getting the image implemented, but just to show as of now that you guys are able to access this site, I'm just going to paste this into chat. So basically the way this works is you'll be able to have that microsite. It's going to take a little bit of troubleshooting to get that image integrated, it seems. But
Oscar,
yeah.
sometimes that happens. So, and that's why it's important to do it first by hand, right? If you create the
Yeah.
HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript by separate, and you want to run this, you need to have all those extensions or folders, files, sorry, inside the same place. And if you don't have in the same folder, if we don't have the image that you're calling on the same place, it's not going to appear in the website. So with that in mind, maybe you need to add once again the image here, your image, right?
Yeah.
And let the AI remember that this is the image that you need to use, because probably, like I said, maybe Gemini is not remembering the previous conversation because of the amount of tokens that are managing. I don't know.
No, yeah, I'm in complete agreement here. What I'm telling it now is that I think it's trying to reference the file location, but since there's no repo, right? Basically what I'm saying is just use your Nano Banana image generator to recreate the image within the page instead of referencing it. So that way it can have it within the page itself. So let's see if this
Uh,
makes that
I
fix.
know,
I'm just gonna see
yeah.
here.
And another thing to share with the audience: every time when I find an error, and we call that debugging, right? A bug, we need to
Yep.
debug, right? Uh, as a non-coder, what I do typically is I take a shot screen of what I'm seeing. For example, the web page that you are showing without your face, and I paste
Yep.
in the chat. This is what I'm seeing. Uh, please fix it and explain why, or what should I do to fix it, and why it happens, right? So uh, this is something that I typically do when I find some error, and the AI will typically help you to solve it.
Yep. Now it's showing at least
Mhm,
the outline. So I'm just going to say this is still
mhm.
the image is still, and this is good because it gets to show that iterative process here. So I'm going to say the image still not presenting. Could you find the error and generate a fix here? So hopefully now that I am specifying the exact place where that issue is presenting itself, as you were saying, giving it that reference point, it should be able to do
Yeah.
that fix. We did get a step closer in terms of it's showing now the image. Let's see here. Just trying to see what it's doing in terms of how to fix it. So let's see here. Okay, cool.
And the other thing that I typically do with in the interaction, what I say typically is give me a simple step-by-step of how to solve it. And with that in mind, you now are taking advantage of the LLM to teach you anything that you want to learn.
Yeah.
Okay.
See here. Worst comes to worst, the simplest fix is just can just remove this portion and just use that headshot for the LinkedIn side. But let's just see if we can do a quick fix here. I think it's going to allow me to do a manual option with a click to upload feature that then will update on the deployed side. So let's see how this runs through here. It's going to take a second as it is still updating the code, most likely. Yeah, it's still doing that. Okay. So the error is likely okay. Yeah. So here we go. So now what it's doing is since there's no local local repo, right? Since we're pulling from from the chat itself and there's no like repo it can pull to, right? I'm going to upload it manually and it should update externally. So let me just get to desktop here and pull this up. So desktop and then AFA demo, and here we go. So I'm going to open this up and here we go. So now we should have that that profile photo integrated. I just had to do that manual approach, but now it should be integrated across the site. And you'll be able to share this with people externally. So with that, literally at the last minute, we were able to create that solution. So that's really, really great. I just wanted to say, first off, thank you to everyone for joining. Really appreciated your time and patience. Hope you guys get to utilize these prompt packs to increase your own professional brand. Learned from that initial foundation, which can be applied to all LLMs, and utilize these frameworks for whatever applications you guys find within your orgs or personal workflows. So thank you to you all for joining the session. I hope you have a great Saturday.
Yeah, and to add to your words, Oscar, I want to say thank you also, and just give you an assignment for this week. We're going to see us next week. Try to use this. Of course, the first is going to be the same exercise that Oscar's shared with us. But if you have any other idea to in the way to apply this knowledge, let us know. If you have any question, send that question, and let's see how you are applying next week. That's it for my side.
Same as well.
Thank you very much, Oscar and Rodrigo.
Thank you, Prabhat.
It's very insightful.
And thanks, everybody. See you later.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy.
See you.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.